Paint some seasonal images with me. These ones will be focused on winter and snow. The time leading up to Christmas is always so busy, though for a while I didn't really focus much on seasonal images during this time of year. And I mean, yeah, the year before, in 2021, I painted baked goods leading up to Christmas. Though for 2022 I wanted to dip into my own heritage in a way, and I figured it would be nice to share some of the traditions I grew up with. There were a few things I kept in mind for this series. First off, I wanted recurring characters to create familiarity. So even before I started painting any of these, I sketched out the characters I had in mind. Another thing I did was to decide upon a colour palette. However, I wasn't too set in it, and sometimes I just needed to add more colours. I also decided on a style for the illustrations, something that was cute and something slightly out of my wheelhouse. But it was a style that I felt would fit the illustrations I was creating and something that could help bring out the childlike joy of the holiday season. As most of you know, there are many things that go into creating an illustration and a series. It's not just about finding the right idea, having the right tools and the practice, but it's also about planning and making a lot of little decisions to make it work. Though that said, it doesn't mean that things always go to plan, because there are several things I could have done better in this series. First off, the colours. I actually failed to double check the contrast between some of these colours, but luckily for me, considering I picked a style with outlines, this wasn't a big issue. When I planned out my characters, I ended up creating just one image instead of making multiple detailed sketches and images that would show the characters from different angles. This isn't the end of the world, but something I wish I did in hindsight, because this is actually what's recommended when creating characters for a story or a series, and it's something that looks really good in a portfolio. But this was a choice I made while I was working, as I had such a clear idea of what these characters would look like and how I could make it work. However, I do think it would be better for my portfolio and such had I made more character sketches beforehand. The size of these characters isn't always clear from the paintings, but that was intentional. In fact, I wanted it to be a surprise that they were indeed so small, which is why their true size doesn't become apparent until they stand next to this bullfinch. The way I saw it, while their size will be more important later in the series, these initial images are more about the joys of snow arriving and enjoying the winter season, which makes the size of the characters kind of irrelevant. However, I drew them with their small size in mind from the very first image. So if you look closely at the first image where they sit in the window, you might be able to tell how unusually thick the glass is if they were the size of a normal human child. Do you have any special traditions with regards to the holidays? I'd love to hear about them in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. More process videos are up on my YouTube channel, but you can also find more of my work on my website and on social media.